Hey, it's Karina. Okay, so today I thought I would talk about books and personal growth and self care and all the things. Okay, now I don't know too many things for certain, but I do know that leaders are readers. And I do know that boss babes and entrepreneurs take time investing in themselves. And that's a really key piece as a boss babe entrepreneur because you are your best asset. And if you're not in really great operating mode, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, it can cause stagnation in your business. And of course, that's not what we want. We want to keep progressing and moving forward. And so I'm going to share with you a couple stories about my personal experience with all of this and some of the things that have helped me and some of the tools and resources that have helped me as well. Really get my mind clear and my heart in check and really just powering up to take it to the next level. And I do think that's a really important part. So a few years ago, I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago, I made a New Year's resolution to read a personal growth book every month for a year. And that was a stretch for me at the time because I kept telling myself the story that I wasn't a reader, that I don't like reading books and whatever. I don't know what that's about now because I rewrote that story. So it seems crazy to me that I said that, but I know for a fact that I said that. So I found another girlfriend in Mary Kay who was telling herself the same story, and we set the same resolution, and then we held each other accountable, and we kind of had like our own little book club going. It was really cool. So the very first book that I decided to read was The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. If you've never read that book, I highly recommend it. It's a really great book to start reading, especially if you're doing something like this, or maybe you're not a reader yourself. It's a good book to start with because it's small. It's a small book, and it impacted my business in so many different areas for the better. In the main way of talking about how little successes every day equal one big result. And so it really taught me consistency, and it also taught me not to beat myself up so much. And so books like that were really helpful. I'm obsessed with John Maxwell books. And so my favorite actually is on repeat in my car on my Audible all the time. And it's The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. If you've never read that book or listened to that book, highly recommend that book, especially if you're looking to get on the leadership track in your business. There are tons of books. I mean, honestly, you could go to Barnes & Noble and just stand in that aisle and like look at all the personal growth books. Now when I go to Barnes & Noble or shop on the Amazon books, I just kind of take a moment and ask myself, what area of my self-development do I need to work on? Do I need to work on consistency or emotional management or time management? And I kind of pick my books based on that. Right now, I chose to read this month a Mary Kay book. It's called The Mary Kay Way. I feel like all the Mary Kay books are just so excellent because they're written by Mary Kay herself more often than not. And so The Mary Kay Way just really takes it back to the basics of the company and her vision and what she desired for the leaders in her company to be like and lead like. And so for me, that's been a really good one. But whatever you decide to read, just make sure it's something that's pouring into your spirit and into your heart. What I have learned from reading so many books over the years is that it makes me like smarter in a weird way because I'm able to pull from wisdom from something that I read or an experience that I read about, or it helped me to become more discerning. But instead of just giving an answer when asked one or whatever, it was just really good. So if that's something that is of interest to you, I highly recommend taking the time to pour into yourself a little bit every day. You know, self-care is such an important piece, not just from the reading standpoint, but from the actual physical care part. I am not a huge workout person, but I do enjoy going to the gym. And so what I've found is that when I don't go to the gym or go for a walk or do something physical every day, 5 days a week, I tend to be a crankier version of Karina, okay? And nobody likes that girl, okay? And so when you're working out, you're putting oxygen to your brain. And of course, one of the benefits is looking better and having your clothes fit better. But for me, it's more so about just feeling like my best self. Knowing that my head's not clouded, I can take my mind off of whatever might be going on around me and really just focus on feeling good. And so if you're not making that a priority, maybe find a way to kind of carve that into your schedule a little bit. We all have the same amount of time. So it's really on putting priority on what's important to you. I read a book called The Happiness Project, and it's an excellent book, but in there she talks about sandwiching your days. And so she's like, you should start your day off the same and end your day the same with like a little ritual, whatever that might be for you. So maybe you might get up and have your coffee and do a quiet time or exercise or whatever. And then at the end, you have like another little ritual. So maybe you might wind down with a cup of tea or a glass of wine or, whatever it is. And it's important to kind of set that in motion in your life for a lot of different reasons. As an entrepreneur, I think it's important because regardless of what goes on in the middle of your day, good or bad or crazy or whatever, you can always count on how it's going to start and how it's going to end. And so for me, I implemented that into my daily life also, and that has really helped me so much significantly. Kind of just keep my wits about me some days when I feel like I'm going to lose my mind. We all have those days where we're kind of like, okay, so it's really helpful for that as well. So reading books, exercising, doing that kind of stuff. And honestly, Mary Kay was just such a wise person, and she really, we hear so much, who are the 5 people in your circle? And so cultivating relationships of and with people who are going to elevate you and bring out the best in you and support you and cheer you on are so crucial. Not saying you abandon all of the other friends that you might have or the relationships that you might have, but cultivating a healthy quality relationship with the 5 people you spend your time with the most is really important. Pick people who inspire you, who intimidate you a little bit, who are a little bit better than you or a lot better than you. Because there's this quote that says, when you hang out with 5 millionaires, you're bound to be the 6th, because you just naturally elevate because you don't want to be left behind, right? And that's a good kind of healthy pressure that you want to have in your social circle. And you want people who will hold you accountable, who will not let you off the hook, because we're so quick to let ourselves off the hook. So having relationships like that are just constantly improving who you are is so good. We never arrive. We're always becoming. And so just continuing to become a better version of who you are is so key, especially in a business where you work for yourself. And, when you are full, you're able to give to others from a completely different place. When your heart's full, that radiates and that impacts so many other people. So what is it that you're spreading around to other people? Is it joy? Is it peace? Is it happiness? Or is it anxiety? Is it worry? Is it like, Because if you're feeling that, a little bit more self-care is probably required. And I can guarantee and promise you that when you take the time to pour into yourself, you're going to be able to pour into other people a whole lot more. And it's going to make a huge difference at your parties and your facials and, interacting with future team members or existing team members or your mentors or whoever it may be. Even your own family, it trickles down into all the other areas of your life. And it's kind of like when mama's happy, everybody's happy. When the boss babe's happy, everybody's happy. So find a way to implement self-care. Find a book that is exciting for you to read this month, and then for the next month, and then for the next month. And it'll be so much fun to watch the transformation and hear about the transformation. I love when you guys message me and tell me about the different things that are going on and where you've improved or where you've grown or what you've learned. It helps me and it makes me so full and so happy. And I just want you to be able to give that to other people too. So have an excellent day. Have an excellent day and go paint the world pink.